Much. Beverly Litton. I understand Weston's that reruns of the Trump show, The Apprentice, will be on air. Okay. Kenneth Vinzat. How does Schumer have say when we are the majority? Because he needs 60 votes. That's why. V. Shara, thank you. Fume Drummer, with advance notice of the shredding party, how was the USAID building unlocked? Is Bondi drunk?
Look, Mom.
Wow. Wish I bought.
Let me call this number. Let's see here. Back to accept it. Okay. Christine Morris.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Christine Morris.
Is not available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye. Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. Hello, and thank you for calling Armis. Our office hours are from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Time Monday through Friday and 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time. Please be aware your call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance. If you would like to file a claim online, please visit armishome.com. Please listen carefully, as our options have changed. If you are a homeowner, press 2. If you are a technician, press 3. Technicians returning a call for a job referral, press 2. Technicians calling with a general question or about payment on a claim, press 3. Thank you for your continued patience. All representatives are busy assisting other callers. Please remain on the line and your call will be answered in the order it was received. You can request an automatic callback, which enables you to leave a message that will retain your position in the queue. We will call you back once your callback has reached the front of the queue. If you wish to request a callback, you may press the star key at any time during these delay announcements. Your call is next to be answered.
Thank you for calling Armis Home. My name is Tanisha. Can I have your claim or your contract number?
Sam Ralph 283600.
Okay, what Bobby? Okay, thank you. Give me just a moment, system. Just moving a little slowly. And Who may I be speaking with today?
I'm the technician Douglas.
Okay, Mr. Douglas, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Need your help?
All right, are you needing to do a verbal estimate?
Well, I'm unable to reach the customer. They're not calling me back. The voicemail is full.
Okay.
And the other question is, how do I file a claim if the model and serial number is missing?
Okay, give me one moment. Let me take a look. Do you mind if I place you on a brief hold?
Sure.
I'm actually going to get the information about that model and serial number, but I'm also going to try to contact the contract holder.
Thank
Give
you.
me one moment, okay?
Yeah, they're gonna have to resubmit the claim. I can't service the unit without my model serial number. I can't even do an estimate. Let's see. Let's go get this part. I'm not going. I can't do this call without a model serial number. What am I doing? Let's go get this part for the one. music. That's gonna take me to 316 station. Serial number off, but your warranty is void because it could be anybody's washing machine. Next door neighbor.
So Georgia probably just did the coolest thing I've seen any state do in a while. So if you live in a Georgia zip code and you're a resident here, you can now officially apply to have your auto insurance rates reduced significantly as long as you've had.
So is the government shutting down? Well, that depends on Donald Trump and the Republicans. They control the White House, they control the House, they control the Senate. It's really up to them. Now, the risk increased greatly when Republicans decided to send a partisan continuing resolution to the Senate that lacked any Democratic support. So what is a continuing resolution, or CR? Let me try to explain. So government funding runs out on Friday at midnight, and in a normal world, what would happen is Democrats and Republicans would pass what's called a clean continuing resolution, a clean CR. That would essentially put the government on autopilot with all of the same funding levels that we had for the last several months, for the next several months, until something can be worked out. But that's not what happened here. Here, Republicans passed a partisan resolution that changed all kinds of funding levels and also stripped Congress of the ability to overturn the Trump tariffs that are wrecking our economy.
Now, clearly we know the Democrats are trying to do something different here. The problem is it lacks authenticity. That's number one. Number two, they're still spewing the same lies. Now, he was correct in something that he said, which is, in this CR, there is a clause that prevents Congress from canceling or repealing tariffs that President Trump places on other countries. And quite frankly, it should be in there. Why would Congress stop the president from implementing tariffs? I don't get it. Whether you like them or you don't like them, the Congress shouldn't be controlling what the president can do in that regard.
And it gives Donald Trump 6 months to continue wrecking the government, continue cutting off funding, continue closing Social Security offices, continuing layoff of veterans and the layoff of firefighters. Essentially gives him another half year to continue all the destructive actions he's taking now. That's not going to fly.
Not only is it the cringe videos, once again, it's also their social media posts. Check this out. It happened again. The people behind Democrats in Congress sent the script to every member, and they are now posting the exact same thing in unison. You'll remember that a bunch of Democrat senators posted videos before Trump's congressional address with the same script. Now, in the spending bill that's heading towards possible shutdown, they did it again. And let me just show you here. Literally someone counted it and it was 49 Democrats verbatim, same post, which is why Elon Musk said exactly what I was thinking. That's all we're asking. Can they please try harder with their propaganda? He was responding to a post that says, I'm begging the left to discover the thesaurus. And here's the individual that said that they counted 49 Democrat Congress members. 49. Do none of them think for themselves? Do none of them care to use their brains other than to spout the same talking points they're given? Do none of them actually give a crap about representing their constituents? This is leftism for you. Absolutely no bit of critical thinking, repeated talking points, and it's almost zombie-like. This is from leftism. And just to pile on, because I know you enjoy us showing you the continued implosion of the Democratic Party, Fox News interviewed younger men on the streets and asked them what they thought about the Democrats.
When I say the word Democrat, you think what?
Loser. Transgenderism. Liberal. Stock trading. They have strange thoughts. I don't understand them. Crybaby. Musk hater. Suddenly. More social programs and entitlements. Socialist.
Evil.
And let's just take a moment here. If you're getting value from this video and overall from our channel, do us a favor. Please like, share, and subscribe. You could go to the links in the description below, shop our merch store, or you could buy us a cup of coffee. And they've done it to themselves, okay? The American people see right through the Democratic Party at this point in time because they've yet to offer up anyone who's authentic. You may hate President Trump. You may hate his personality. You may think he's not a nice person or he's corrupt or evil, but what you can't say is he is not authentic. He's absolutely one of the most authentic people you'll ever come across in politics. There's no question. He's the same guy in every room that he walks in. But hey, this is coming from a person on the right. Let's hear from someone on the left what they think about what Democrats should be doing.
What we've been seeing from them, it doesn't resonate. It's not working any longer. We're not falling for the okie doke. We're not buying what they're selling. And at the end of the day, they've got to stand up, step up, and show that they're ready to do the job that folks sent them to the nation's capital to do. And that's work with whatever administration is in office. I know they don't like the fact that Donald Trump is in office, but the 47th president of the United States of America. His name is Donald Trump. And as you have told me on many occasions, if nothing else, the man is all about making deals. Find deals that he's willing to make and make it happen.
Do you want to admit that I was right?
And that's the bottom line. They should figure it out. And what's fascinating is they're too emotional to accept the reality that President Trump is a deal maker. He's more likely to work with any Democrat if they're trying to make a deal, instead of trying to play politics and clearly make him look bad in front of the American people. And that's why I don't think they will make a deal, because they're just in the habit of doing just that to President Trump, because over the past decade, that's all they've done. And it doesn't help when you continue to see the Democrats that the American people have rejected go onto the news and say this.
What are you going for here with the I'm worried that Trump has syphilis?
Well, okay, first of all, there's something wrong with him. That's pretty clear. That meeting in the Oval Office was a significant deterioration. Secondly, we do know that he did have red splotches on his hand, which, it could be an indication of syphilis. But the other thing that we noted, we had to talk about, on January the 17th, 2017, Keith Schiller and two other goons broke into his doctor's office, Dr. Bornstein, and confiscated his health records. We have never seen them. We don't know what's in it. So if I take, of course I'm speculating.
Yes.
But if he had an enlarged prostate or had a precancerous skin lesion, you wouldn't steal your medical records, would you? You wouldn't break into your internist and send people to confiscate your medical records. So unlike people who say, well, I'm just asking questions.
No, you're not.
Well, of course I am. There's some deterioration in him.
I mean, listen, James Carville, please keep speaking for Democrats. We love it when you do, because when you start speaking in that way, nobody's listening. I'm only showing the clip to prove my point here, but nobody's listening to that. The average American could care less what you have to say when you speak that way. And it's not just those inflammatory comments, which really nobody relates to. It's also the same old talking points that they keep pushing every time it comes to a funding bill. Watch.
But what I can tell you is that the CR that's been put forward is not bipartisan. They have not accepted input from the Democrats, and we want something that is truly bipartisan and allows us, again, to ensure that we are not handing over the government to these billionaires. All of this is about tax cuts for billionaires. None of it anticipates anything for average, hardworking, middle-class families. In fact, as I've mentioned, it harms us in every possible way. We've seen the witch hunt against federal employees. We've seen already the concerns around cutting veterans benefits, Medicaid for sick children. It's horrendous, and we do not support it.
Yeah, so my only question to the Congresswoman, did she forget what happened over the last 4 years? Right? The border crisis, the wars that broke out, the 13 service members that lost their life, the censorship on social media, the COVID vaccine mess where people were kicked out of the military, lost their jobs over it. Some children were forced to actually get the vax. Schools were shut down. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but they have amnesia when it comes to that stuff. When it's their party, they could do no wrong. But when it's Republicans, oh, Trump is all bad. Yeah, see, that's why nobody relates to it, because it's just too extreme. They claim that Republicans are going to gut all of the benefits in order to give tax cuts to billionaires. Nobody's buying that, all right? Now, here's Tim Walz, who says out loud that none of this would be happening if they had won the election.
I think Americans have had it. I hope they've had it. And now we just need to do what we can do to make the case. And I own this. We wouldn't be in this mess if we'd have won the election. And we didn't. We have to make sure that Americans know it's not just that Donald Trump is bad, but we're offering them something better. And I think that's what we need to work on.
I actually believe what they should be working on is their credibility, because every time there's a chance for them to prove to the American people that they're serious about doing the work that the American people want them to do, you know what happens? They fail. And I'm going to show you an example of that. 127 Democrats just voted no to extend the statute of limitations in order to prosecute people who committed fraud during COVID. Watch.
You'd think there would be no opposition to extending the statute of limitations to go after COVID fraudsters and recover taxpayer money, but that wasn't the case when 127 Democrats, including Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi, voted against a one-page bill giving the DOJ 5 more years to pursue pandemic fraud, and it left Republicans dumbfounded.
It's unconscionable to me that our colleagues on the other side are actually continuing to fight to protect fraudsters.
This is the GAO estimates up to 15% of pandemic benefits were fraudulent, totaling up to $235 billion. The bill ultimately passed as those who voted against it sought to explain their vote.
Today's Republican bill is so hypocritical. It completely ignores President Trump's illegal termination of the nonpartisan inspector general responsible for that very work.
And get this, Brian, just last week, a California Highway Patrol dispatcher and her felon husband were charged with bilking more than $3 million in COVID benefits using the identities of children and prison inmates.
Nobody is surprised that Democrats are trying to defend fraud because we just saw how they reacted to USAID, where we know their spouses, family, friends, associates, business partners were on these boards of these NGOs getting paid tons of money, right? All in the name of delivering aid to the world, which we all know is a bunch of bull. Now, there's a certain percentage of it that is legit. Okay, that's why Secretary of State Rubio came out and said, hey, 82% of this is gone and we're going to keep the remaining amount. But overall, Democrats, they just continue to prove that they're not interested in rooting out fraud. And they're definitely not interested in working with Republicans, which is why Congressman Mullen went on to CNN last night and told Caitlin Collins what the truth is. Watch.
Isn't this the same CR, the same spending levels that you voted for in September? The same spending levels that you voted for in December? So what has changed? What's changed is you have President Trump in office rather than President Biden in office. Because there's no other argument you can have here. They weren't willing to shut it down. They were okay with these numbers 2 other times, but this is in 2024. Now that Trump's in office, it's their hatred towards Trump that they're willing to shut down the government for. It's absurd. Why wouldn't they support the policies, the numbers that they voted for underneath Biden?
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, really sums up what's been happening this entire week. Democrats are acting like this CR wasn't something that they voted for the last 2 times last year. And they said that if the government was to shut down, all hell would break loose. Now what they're saying is if we pass this CR, all hell would break loose. And what really is the difference? Trump is the president. You have a message. The question of this video, what's your reaction to Adam Schiff's cringe video that he uploaded, including the 49 Democrats who have copied and pasted the same message? I mean, guys, I find this to be entertaining. I really do, because this continues to confirm that they're lost. And as long as they're lost, that means they don't have the ability to destroy this country, okay? Let me know what your thoughts are about all that in the comment section below. Now, it's clear.
Democrats so excited to tear down an American company or companies the way they are right now. It's crazy.
I don't know who he thinks is buying Teslas, but I can guarantee you that they're out of reach, many of them, for the average Trump voter. So,
well, that completely backfired. It turns out Republicans can afford Teslas and actually helped out Elon Musk. So in this video, we will go over all of the most recent meltdowns surrounding Elon Musk getting attacked, Donald Trump helping out Tesla, and some people are saying what Donald Trump did for Tesla is illegal. So before we start this video, please like the video. It's the #1 way you can help this channel.
ironic that the president is now touting electric vehicles. I mean, first of all, it's not legal. Let's start with that. Second, I mean, you can't do this on the property of the White House. It's federal property. Second, I mean, really, the president is basically a car salesman now?
You guys are going to laugh at this. We do have something called the Hatch Act. That's to make sure federal employees do not abuse their positions in which they could get some favors over in the private sector. You know, maybe like a senator trying to get some donations for their next campaign. The only issue is the Hatch Act does not apply to the president or the vice president. So everything Donald Trump did for Tesla and Elon Musk is completely illegal.
And basically act like a showroom salesman. By the way, I don't know who he thinks is buying Teslas, but I can guarantee you that they're out of reach, many of them, for the average Trump voter. So I'm not sure who in the MAGA universe he's urging to buy Teslas because Teslas consistently, in previous iterations, were bought by wealthier, more environmentally conscious people.
Okay, we have to talk about this, and you can leave your opinions down below in the comments. I don't know what this notion is that Republicans are dirt broke and don't have any money to afford a Tesla. I went over to their website, and this is literally one of the most affordable cars you could ever buy, especially a new model. And I understand these are the base models, but still, I don't get the notion of calling Republicans poor and insulting them and gaslighting Republicans.
MAGA voters are not buying Teslas. This is these are people with much lower incomes and frankly Democratic voters in this current environment. And I mean, there's that right there. And plus, there's all the perception of just people being nasty to Tesla owners. And
look, I had already made a video talking about Donald Trump helping out Tesla. I did not know what exactly would happen as far as if Republicans would really go out and buy Teslas or buy Tesla stocks. It turns out they absolutely did. Now look, it went from $215 in one day, it peaked up to $250. That means we had quite the surge. Now, when you look over like 6 months, yes, Tesla definitely has some work to do as far as, getting back to its, what were we at? $479 mark, but nonetheless, Republicans are turning out and Republicans are buying Teslas now and supporting Elon Musk.
I'm assuming you agree, because as a Republican strategist, you wouldn't have advised him to go in front of the White House and drive a Tesla.
Wait, why?
Because
of course I would have. You know why? Because if I were advising a Republican president, I would say, let's support American companies that have thousands of American workers and thousands more workers who make indirect products for it. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea if American companies did well under my...
And okay, so you're going to go ahead and support a billionaire, but not support the American worker, and not necessarily...
Who do you think makes Teslas, Sochi? American workers. It's good if...
But it's
Tesla
very much, as Jana mentioned, it's a quid pro quo.
In his basement? They got factories all over the place.
Now, I'm trying to figure out what the argument is to give you guys the full picture. It almost seems like just because Elon Musk is the world's richest man and he's a multi-billionaire, that's a problem. It's like if he was only worth $50 million, that wouldn't be an issue. I don't know what the argument is anymore for Elon Musk and Tesla.
Including in China. Yeah. Do they not have thousands of Americans?
It's just the visual of him driving a six-figure...
Did Joe Biden drive a Jeep Rubicon around the South?
Okay, a six-figure car is owned by a billionaire in the White House.
Stellantis is giving billions. The UAW had a stake in it, and the UAW gave money to Joe Biden, and they supported Joe Biden. You're saying one-handed.
Well, you're talking about the UAW. You're kind of making a point about a billionaire who is in the federal government making cuts and making business deals that end up benefiting himself. A lot of those things are terrible look for Donald Trump.
Democrats so excited to tear down an American company or companies the way they are right now. It's crazy.
We talked about this before. There seems to be some sort of hypocrisy going on. When Joe Biden did a photo shoot with Jeep, nobody seemed to care. And by the way, I was just curious. It turns out when you go to the Jeep website, their prices seem to be a little bit more than the Tesla prices when you compare a lot of these options you can pick. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, here's a quote from another automaker here in the U.S. telling NBC News, Tesla has benefited more from taxpayer money than any other car maker by far. Now the White House is marketing Tesla vehicles. What's next?
Okay, so this is a serious problem. Not the quote itself. Who actually gave the quote? All it says is major automaker to NBC News. It could be Ford, it could be Chevy, it could be Dodge, it could be anyone, it could be fake. We have no idea because all it says is major automaker. I really think this is why we are seeing so much support for Tesla, because we are seeing reports from the left-leaning media with quotes from a major automaker, especially in an industry where all of the major automakers in America get some sort of help or protection from the United States. It's a very weird segment for them to play on TV.
So just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist.
Around the country, ever since the end of January, including here in Colorado, where this Tesla storefront was vandalized multiple times with Molotov cocktails and anti-Elon Musk graffiti.
Now, there's one thing a lot of people have missed while talking about this story. We have had quite the switch in what a Tesla is all about. Because look, we all know this. Tesla was for the tech guy, it was for people who are into the environment, and now all of a sudden we have the blue-collar worker Republican who's all into Teslas.
The Tesla used to be the darling of the left, particularly leftist environmental groups. It was the car that was going to save the environment. And now you've got these left-wing environmental groups. They are defacing the cars. They are destroying property at Tesla dealerships. And the car didn't change.
The only reason Democrats have changed their minds on Tesla is because Elon Musk changed his mind on Donald Trump. That's the bottom line. I know AOC, for instance, used to drive a Tesla. I'm not sure if she still does. If she still does, it's because she knows it's a great American-made product.
Now look, I am not trying to overhype this, but I am trying to show you all of those polls were actually accurate. We always hear that Republicans support Doge, they support Elon. It turns out they really do support them, and Republicans went to Tesla, they bought cars, they bought stocks, and what Donald Trump did for Tesla actually worked.
Government does shut down. I want to show our viewers something that I thought was really interesting, which is that you have taken to TikTok. Yes. And you were trying to communicate such things on TikTok. I want to play a little bit of one of your posts.
I cannot play the background music to this TikTok, but I have never laughed so hard in my life at one of the weirdest attempts of making a TikTok for the younger generation.
Potential shutdown. You have to communicate where people are and what they're listening to and what they're reading, etc. You change, your environment changes. You know that. You know, there's old school, and now you have to move. You know, you can either move with the times or you can be left behind. My choice is to move with the times. Well, I enjoyed that. Thank you. Please come back.
Now, just so you are aware, the reasoning for that TikTok, according to this congresswoman, is that if the government does shut down, she will be ahead of the curve and be ahead of Republicans as far as the messaging behind her and her reasoning for the government shutting down. You literally cannot make this up.
Ahead of this, you said this is the ultimate boss move from Musk, except he isn't even the boss, he's just a dick. And then you followed that up with, I'm on the side of the workers, not the billionaire asshole bosses.
Now look, I would be a hypocrite if I told you I never cursed. I was in the army, I'm a veteran now, it comes with the territory sometimes. However, this is a new trend we are seeing where people, members of government, are just openly cursing. Sometimes on TV, sometimes on X or Twitter. It's just becoming the norm now.
So, I mean, I ask you this sincerely. Do you, like, what's the value in that kind of language and communication? Is that the best way to communicate the stakes of the moment that the country's in?
Well, what I am hearing from voters at home and what I heard on your show is that people want to see some fight. They want to see some urgency in this moment that we're in. And I think with that tweet that I did, it touched a nerve with millions of people because everybody has had the experience of having some boss who treats them with disrespect, who denigrates their work, and is just basically using big power play moves to terrorize them.
Okay, we need to stop here real quick. Please leave your comments down below because I can already hear some of you guys getting so annoyed at this response. First things first, I want to give some credit to this CNN news anchor for totally pressing this Democrat and saying, why are you writing this? What are you doing? The fact that a CNN news anchor is actually calling out this Democrat. I mean, how much more telling is that? The fact that a CNN news anchor is calling you out to your face for your actions on X is everything we need to know. Right now, the Democratic Party is in really big trouble, considering the government might shut down very soon and Democrats have to figure out who to blame, and we know Democrats won't blame themselves, so we're seeing a lot of finger pointing. We'll actually get to that later in the video, but again, the rest of this response is quite interesting.
And so to me, what we really need to do in this moment
Like people started just think, hey, I don't want to share this country with people who don't belong here.
Right.
Hey, I'm tired of spending a lot of money at the grocery store. I'm tired of these wars that we have nothing to do with, and we're over here funding other people's borders. But then we can't help people in North Carolina that went through a flood, and then people in California who have fires. They're going like, what are we doing? Why aren't we helping our own people? And I actually just think that they just lost the narrative, and they're more mad at themselves that they couldn't keep it up.
WNBA. Ladies, name your top 5 all-time WNBA players of all time. Come on.
We deserve more.
Meanwhile,
yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
When you can't dunk a basketball, nobody wants to watch. That I want to talk about, I got to talk about this one. Angel Reese. Angel. Somebody wake her up. Pour some water on her face. I think she has good intentions. Well, let me say this. Certain people have a certain capacity, right? The capacity is based on your knowledge and your lived experience. Her knowledge and lived experience and the capacity of what she has to deal with mentally and, like I said, in life experience, I think she really believes what she's saying. She's just ignorant. And a lot of times when you're young, you ignorant. And a lot of times when you're young and you grew up around black people, you're definitely ignorant. Because nobody gonna hold you accountable to the truth. I haven't watched this clip yet. I just noticed she mentioned this. Show me somebody that's gonna push back against her on this show. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Show me somebody pushing back against her on this show. Roll the clip.
We all did it. Yeah, the CBA is coming up soon. I can't wait. Girl, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL. What does that mean? We deserve more. Of course, everybody. I agree. Everybody. I agree with that. But we gotta get face the consequences. Damn, we gotta get it on the Y'all gotta do something. Y'all gotta do something. But the women coming in, not this year, but next year, or because the ones coming in this year will still be on the rookie contract again. Mm-hmm. The ones the year after, they gonna get more. They probably gonna be making more than us. No, they are. They are. Like, I've been in the meetings. They are. I need to get in the. I need to get in the field. You need to come to the meetings. I need to get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, they don't give us. If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sit out. That's a possibility for real. Yeah.
Okay, she did say at the very end, if you'll give us one, we sit now. So Angel Reese made mention that I thought it was a little more expansive than that, but she made mention that if we don't get what we want, we're gonna sit out. Now, let me just put this in perspective, and many of you guys know this. You're gonna sit out. What y'all gonna do if you sit out? You're just gonna save money. For in the NBA, you're gonna save money on these news channels. Y'all gonna save a whole bunch of money. You're gonna save people money so they have to come pay for these games. Y'all don't have the leverage to sit out. Let me just play this real quick and then I'm gonna give you some numbers. I wanna play the highlight tapes or the low light tapes let's play the low light tapes of Angel Reese first. And when I say low lights, we know that these are not her highlights, right? She does have a highlight tape. But when you good, your low light shouldn't look this bad. So let's play Angel Reese's low light tapes, just so you put it in perspective that she's making a reference that she's going to sit out or she should sit out. And this is Angel Reese. Roll the clip.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Oh my God. I know it's just one little thing, but the skill that looked like me playing basketball. And I don't play basketball ever. Let's play the WNBA highlight clip. And this is even worse. How many minutes it is? A minute and 12 seconds. Roll the clip.
Top 5 funniest lowlights in WNBA history? Let's go take a look. Starting off at number 5, I got a bricked layup. Big man gets the board, sends it back to the person who missed, and she misses another layup. And then they can't even grab the rebound. At number 4, we have a 3 turnover sequence. First girl passes it directly to the other team. Next girl dribbles it through a double team, turns it over, and then the last girl just throws it out of bounds. Like, what am I even watching? At number 3, we have a basically 4 turnover sequence. First player falls over, turns it over. Next player passes it away to the other team. Finally, we got some offense. Nope, wait, missed layup. Next player brings it all the way back down the court. Oh, she gets in the lane. Hey, maybe what? Nope, pass right to the other team. And you wonder why nobody watches. At number 2, I got an inbounds play. Nothing bad can happen, right? Unless you pass it right to the other team. And the other person didn't help themselves out by bricking the 3-pointer. I mean, this is insane. We're passing it right to the other team. She didn't even have a teammate within like 20 feet. But at number 1, we have Miss Rookie of the Year hitting the bottom of the rim on a wide open layup.
The reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too.
Nah, shorty, that's all Caitlin.
Put the hands on their knees. Put the hands on their knees. Put the hands on their knees.
Shake some.
Somebody forgot to edit that last part. But anyway, I'm not trying to make fun of Angel Reese, to be honest. I'm really not. I just want people to be fair and put things in perspective. And I think people will have a more peaceful life. Just understand that the WNBA been losing money since Jesus Christ was alive. Y'all know I'm exaggerating, but they've been losing money. Let me just give you an example. Despite experiencing record-breaking attendance and viewership, the WNBA is projected to incur a loss of approximately $40 million this season. This figure is an improvement from the earlier forecast of $50 million loss, but still underscores the league's ongoing financial challenges. The best year that they've ever had in the history of the WNBA. History of the WNBA with Caitlin Clark and all the attention that they got and all the people that have been watching, they still lost $40 million. Like, at some point, an asset, or it's not an asset, at some point, some part of your company that's hemorrhaging, at some point you got to cut it off. At some point you got to say this is not profitable. Unless you say it's a passion project, and I don't care the profitability, I'm going to use the profit from my other company to fund my passion project. And if you're a WNBA player, you should understand that this is the NBA's passion project. You're not doing anything to earn this money. You're losing money. They're giving you money as a gift. You're not earning anything. You guys' viewership is not there. When you can't dunk a basketball, nobody wants to watch.
God, this place officially sucks worse than the WNBA.
And at the top of the second half, it's 16-9. Easton leads the scoring with 4.
And that's why she commands $7,000 a year. These gals sure do make it look difficult.
But is having this minor skill worth being so unattractive? That's for the fan to decide.
That's gonna be... .120 Inglewood Drive.
Hello?
Miss Moya, this is Doug.
Yes.
Just let you know, I should be there about your washer at 8 a.m. sharp. At 8 a.m. sharp.
Okay, I'll
I'm
see you
picking up
tomorrow.
your part right now. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
So all I gotta do is go to the house in the morning. All right, guys.
0.3, up 0, goose egg, unched. Boy, that is progress. We haven't had a number that low. Well, we equaled it in July of last year when we had another 0. To find a lower number, you're back to October of 23 at -0.4. Strip out the all-important food and energy, down 1/10. Down 1/10. That's 0.4 lower than expectations. Down 1/10 also equals July of last year. Find a lower number, you're going back to COVID times, April of 2020.
What we're seeing right now is the Democrats even worse off than they were before. Death spiral. Complete death spiral. Especially with today's news. Today's news was absolutely fantastic. And the reason why it is so fantastic is because the contrast at this point is so easy for everybody to see. It's amazing. So let me show you a couple things what I'm talking about. Peter St. Ange posted this earlier. Excuse me. Biden's last inflation report before he left was 5.7%. Trump's first inflation report annualized is 2.4. You don't have to be a math wizard to see the contrast. Trump's inflation report is half of what, less than half of what Joe Biden's was at the end of his term. And Trump's been on the job, for a couple, 8 weeks, and he's already broken him. So thus far, just so you people keeping score at home, if you want to tell your lib friends, the inflation, half. Gas prices, down. Oil prices and energy, down. Eggs, down. War, just about done with. And it's been 7 weeks. And what the hell are you people complaining about? You got nothing. Everybody can see it. There's no hiding it at this point going, hey man, this guy really stepped in and took care of some business, didn't he? Oh yeah. And it's only been 7 weeks. I would hate to be in the newsroom of some of these left-wing crazy things because they have to make stuff up when the data smacks you right in the face. When Peter put this together, and this is a percent of changes in the CPI, Consumer Price Index, of all urban consumers, U.S. city average. And you can just see it. All items, food at home, energy, and it's all right there. And the comparison couldn't be starker. So how do you combat that if you're a Democrat? Lie. That's it. That's all you can do is lie because there's nothing else for you to say. When the only message you have is a lie, you're in big, big, big trouble. I mean, just stupendous trouble. And it just keeps getting worse for them every single day. They complain about the tariffs, he wins. EU just decided they're going to dump like 50% tariffs. So what? I don't need anything you got. He's going to hit them back as well, and he's going to bring them to their knees. That's the problem these people are having. They don't like the strength that Trump is exhibiting. They don't like masculinity and testosterone. The whole toxic masculinity. Why is Trump punching them so hard? They don't like that Tom Homan has cleaned up the border mess in literally 7 or 8 weeks. It's down to just about 0. How did that happen? I thought Joe Biden said there's nothing I can do. Congress needs to send me something. Well, Trump turned it off. The contrast is too striking. That's why the media at this point has nothing to talk about. We can't talk about the price of eggs anymore. Nope. How about gas? Nope. Mortgage rate? Nope, not mortgage rates. Stock market? It's being manipulated, but even that, not really. Border? Nope. Okay, let's lie about some stuff.
I'm very happy with is oil is down to $65 a barrel. And that's faster than I would have anticipated. We put on the gas, we stepped in the gas in order to get oil. And what's happening. So we're getting that down. And when energy comes down, prices are going to be coming down with it. So in a very short period of time, we've done a very good job. I don't know if you saw a little thing like the cost of eggs. Little to you, but big to people out there. Down almost 30%. In the last few days, we got it down. We did a lot of things. We have a great Secretary of Agriculture, and we did a lot of things that got the cost of eggs down very substantially. And financially, we'll be stronger than ever before. I think the markets are going to soar when they see what's happening. I'll tell you what, I'm called every day by numerous big companies. I spoke at the Business Roundtable yesterday. They had the largest attendance they've ever had. And these are only the CEOs and chairmen, but mostly the people that run the boss, the people that run the top 150 companies. 150 people showed up. Every single company showed up. First time it ever happened. It's been around a long time. The biggest business days. We had a great discussion. It went really well. And I want to tell you, there's tremendous optimism out there about our country in terms of regulations being cut, in terms of taxes being cut. And it would be great if the Democrats would do what's right. It would be great if the Democrats would do what's right for our country for a change, because they really are. They've lost their way.
They've lost their way. That is a really good statement. They've completely lost it. And I understand, again, we're talking national averages here. It may not, what they say, objects in the mirror may vary. Maybe your local area is not. And there can be a number of different reasons why that's the case, including your local state government. What kind of things are they doing? I'm sorry, I can't speak to California. Can't speak to the Northeast. Don't know how that government's working and what they're tacking on to all these prices. But I'm telling you, down here and nationally, things are down 30%. Gas, way down. I mean, way down. And we live in down here in Florida, we live in a very populated area in South Florida, and we're seeing it already. So I don't know if Ron DeSantis has lowered some of the sales taxes or whatever. Things are different. And it's now on a national basis that people are seeing this. So it's not me, it's all over. Everybody is saying this. And like President Trump just said, the Democrats need to get it together. They don't really have much of an option at this point.
We begin here tonight with the tit-for-tat tariffs. President Trump started the day by retaliating for a 25% surcharge on Canadian electricity that lights up homes in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. He hit back hard, smashing a 50% tariff over the border on Canadian aluminum and steel. Premier Doug Ford of Ontario responded by rescinding the electricity surcharge, as well as his threat to cut off power entirely. The president was up next. Late today, he reduced the 50% metals tariff to 25%. For investors, it was like watching a tennis match. At one point, the major stock indexes were off about 1.5% before recovering some of their losses by the close of trading. Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes talked to one of the generals in the trade war, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Nancy?
John, good evening. Lutnick insisted today that President Trump's unpredictable tariff moves will actually benefit the economy by year's end. But consumer confidence is falling right along with the markets.
Our country had to do this.
His announcement this morning caught the financial world off guard. 50% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. But by this afternoon, it was off after Ontario's premier agreed to drop his new 25% tariff on electricity going to the U.S.
We have both. So it worked. The entire premise of your report it was wrong. If the tariffs don't work, why did Ford from Ontario waved the white flag so quickly? Why did the markets recover so quickly? you needed to amend your report because obviously what you are reporting is that Trump indeed won. He did show confidence to consumers.
Agreed. Let cooler heads prevail.
By then, however, the Dow had tumbled another 1%. Since Thursday, it has fallen more than 2.5%.
The markets are going to learn. Let the deal maker make his deals.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick brokered today's truce with the Ontario Premier. What is really being accomplished with all of these 1 or 2 day tariffs that end up getting yanked?
Well, when you're negotiating with someone and they're not paying attention and they're disagreeing, the president, who's the best deal maker ever to sit in that chair, is going to say, here's my response. And then all of a sudden, shockingly, they respond.
And yet the prospect of an aggressive trade war has prompted both J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs to bump up the risk of a recession this year. Will these policies be worth it if they lead to a recession, even a short?
Interesting that she didn't ask that about Biden's economy. We're 6 weeks in, 7 weeks in right now. And what President Trump is doing is trying to basically stimulate the economy. What was working is not working. I mean, what wasn't working, we cannot continue because it wasn't working. So in order to stimulate the economy, you've got to change things up. They never mentioned, I showed it last night, they never mentioned all of the tariffs on products that Canada has on America. When Trump says reciprocity and reciprocal tariffs, he's talking about leveling the playing field. But for some reason, I don't know if they're that anti-American, these people in the media don't want to talk and don't want you to know what the reciprocity of these tariffs will cause. When they say short-term pain, they're not defining what short-term is. Short-term in terms of Canada could have been yesterday. It's pretty much over. Now, once you go ahead and do something against us, we're going to hit you back with more and more tariffs. So the term of the volatility isn't being caused by just Trump going in chaos. He's looking at what you're doing. He's punching, he's counterpunching. I don't think the media, well, no, they understand. They hope you don't understand. So it's going to look like this because right now people are manipulating the stocks. They're trying to see which ones are going to make it, which ones aren't going to make it. That's why after Trump raised it back on Canada, it was like, whoa, hey, it went down. Then when Canada waved the white flag, what happened? It went back up. Like, okay, we weathered that storm. We're going to be okay. And then, bam, they tried to do some more, and then Trump turned around and hit him again. When you're trying to take a shot at the big dog, you're going to give it everything you got. And just like watching anything else, a tennis match, you're waiting to see where things are going to end up. But if you know you have the superior team on the field, the superior player, it's a foregone conclusion. They are lying to you when they're saying it's chaotic and all these things are going to happen. If you know, without any doubt, that you have the superior team on the field, as long as you don't make any fumbles or interceptions, other than that, you are most likely going to win. It's not chaotic. They are trying to make you think it's chaotic. Again, look at who freaks out and who doesn't. Trump, Elon, Howard Lutnick, they're all smiles. They know they have a superior team. They've got the cards, as Trump likes to say. Hey, I'm gonna just do what I can, and I'm gonna buy a bunch of Teslas. And Elon's like, yeah, we're gonna double the production. And Apple comes in, hey, we're gonna drop $500 billion. And this company comes in and says, hey, we're gonna do $20 billion. Are you hearing those announcements for companies in, I don't know, Canada, Mexico, any place in Europe? Are you hearing those broad movements? That's your clue. Why are they not making huge announcements in these other countries that all of a sudden, we're so pissed off at Trump, we're gonna do business here? You're not hearing that. And the crystal ball saying, hey, Go put tariffs on Canada. These people are insufferable. The questions that the media ask, you're sitting here with one of the president's, right-hand people, and you're asking, so is there really a plan here, or are you guys just, shooting from the hip? Seriously? You're sitting there talking to a billionaire? You're sitting there talking to somebody who rebuilt his company after 9/11? Is still taking care of many, many, many families that got hurt in 9/11? You're talking about a guy who had tons of money, saw his entire company destroyed and rebuilt it, and you're asking him, and a guy whose name is all over the sky in New York, whether he has a plan? Tell me CBS hasn't hired people that stupid.
Is not chaotic, and the only one who thinks it's chaotic is someone who's being silly. He said reciprocal tariffs.
Nobody expected him to announce 50% tariffs this morning.
He needed to break some guy in Ontario who said he was going to tax American energy 25%. The president...
You catch those words. That's why the little lady here who's not used to talking to men didn't understand. Nobody thought this. That's because he had to break him. At that point, the people on the left, when they heard that, would just probably go into conniptions. What do you mean? I'm not looking to ask any boxer. I'm looking to take you out. I'm looking to break you. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm looking to dominate you. What don't these people understand? He's telling you the words. We're looking to break him. Break him. Whenever I played football, one of the first things that my coach always told me is, when you come out the gate, those first couple of plays, you better hit as hard as you possibly can, because you want to put doubt in that guy's mind. Guess what the rest of the day is going to look like for you? The rest of the day for you, the next 2 or 3 hours, is going to be hell. It's funny, I'm looking down as if I'm looking at a guy's helmet. The next 3 hours, I'm going to be all over you. I am going to try and break your will. I'm going to try my best to make sure you don't want to line up against me. That's what I was taught. You guys used to watch Mike Tyson's fights. What was the joke? Which one's the referee? Because I'm knocking the other out. I'm not here to play with you. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to take you out. And Howard Lutnick just said it. You want to break somebody? Oh yeah, I want to break him. Break him. That hurt? Sorry.
United States in the White House says, "Oh no, you won't," and breaks him. And you think that's chaotic? Okay, Nancy, so after all that, where do we stand tonight?
Well, Maurice, we're back to where we were essentially this weekend, which is the U.S. has imposed 25% tariffs on some Canadian goods, and Canada has responded in kind. And Lutnick says Trump is still on track to impose reciprocal tariffs on countries around the globe in early April, which means whatever they tax us, we tax them, which will likely lead to a lot more standoffs like the one we saw today.
Nancy, the Commerce Secretary says this is all worth it. Remind us what the it is, which is to say, what's all this supposed to accomplish?
Well, President Trump's theory is that if he taxes goods coming from overseas, that it will incentivize companies.
You guys' funerals cost at least 15 grand. I mean, do your loved ones have 15 grand to spare? Because I know mine don't.
Is that if he taxes goods coming from overseas, that it will incentivize companies to move production back to the United States, which will create American jobs. But to make big decisions like that, companies normally need certainty. They need to know that policies are unchanging and a new...
Did she not see the cavalcade of people over the last couple of weeks that have come to the White House? I want to open business here. Again, contrast and lies. She's always in the press conferences. I recognize her. She's always there. She had to have seen Tim Cook. She had to have seen the Business Roundtable. She had to have seen the huge announcement in terms of crypto and what these people were just putting in tens and hundreds of billions of. She had to have seen it. But she can't tell the truth because the liberals who watch her stuff, she has to keep them in the dark. It's going to be okay. He's going to fail. And America's going to suck, just like we want it. Because that's what they want to hear. Unfortunately.
Survey, John, of CEOs this month finds that they are more pessimistic about the state of the economy than they have been at any time since the start of the pandemic.
Okay, Nancy Cordes at the White House. Thank you. Meanwhile,
This is CNN Breaking News.
we begin this hour with the breaking news. The Consumer Price Index shows annual inflation at 2.8%, the first time it has slowed in some 4 months. Let's begin with this new report on inflation here in the United States. What's the headline?
Well, this is welcome news for consumers. Prices in February fell for the first time in 4 months. Prices in February.
I thought somebody just told me that the prices didn't fall and I should be truthful with my math. Interesting. One day after the CBS report, this comes out and makes them look completely stupid. It makes other people look completely stupid. Nationally, there's been huge economic news.
Month over month increased about 0.2%, and on an annual basis, 2.8%. So that's encouraging news for consumers. We saw in this report that shelter, that is rent, made up half of all increases in the report, but we did see decreases on things like gas.
Finally, we have some good news on the economy, and really the number one issue for many Americans, the cost of living. So we just learned that consumer prices in February increased by 2.8% year over year, 0.2% month over month. Both of these figures were a step in the right direction, and both were better than expected. So this is definitely very encouraging to see, because it's going to, I think, relieve some fears that inflation was perhaps re-accelerating, because this actually breaks a streak of 4 straight months where I think you can see it on the
Ooh, the contrast, that's my word of the day, contrast. When you can look at numbers pre-January 20th and look at numbers post-January 20, and it's only 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Look, don't take my word for it. The reason why I used CNN in these 2 clips is because it's easy to use Fox Business. It's easy to use Fox News. This is CNN going, oh crap, the numbers don't lie, do they? No. Look at the graph. The contrast is going to kill the Democrat Party. Oh, that's a commercial. Just like the big, beautiful chart that he always talked about. And he's like, here's what it was when I was in office, and look what happened when I left office. And that big, beautiful chart that saved his life was something he used in every single campaign rally. Because there's such a contrast. Look, I had nobody, he let everybody in. Now it's exactly the same. You've got a chart that goes, look, look at what it was. Now all of a sudden, you're seeing the difference. Has it not been happening in your particular neck of the woods? Maybe not. But it's happening nonetheless.
all the way to the right, where the inflation rate was going in the wrong direction, right? It was going higher and higher. Finally, we're seeing it dip.
So right now, we have the right moment, the right time. Manufacturing is back. If you believe that a supply chain bringing parts of cars across the border with Mexico or Canada 7 times, and this is efficient, this is not. This is insanity. We got to build in America. We got to produce things here, employ Americans, and be happy with everybody.
I thought the lady from CBS just said people are freaking out and they're going to have to see certain things before they start doing business with America. Pretty sure that's what she just said. Just remember the word as you're talking to your liberal friends, contrast. What happened that all of a sudden, all of these companies and businesses want to do business in America.
Temperature, deliberately. Well said. We're going to lower the temperature. You know, he thought he'd be sort of the big man and tackle Donald Trump, but you know you can't tackle Donald Trump. He is the most important, the smartest, the most capable leader in the world.
He did it again. The guys in the audience, you know what he just said. You thought you was good. You thought you were a big man. There's no doubt why he's saying it that way. He's letting other big men. You gotta like that. Seriously, you want to step to us? We got the biggest economy in the world. We got the money. You want to take us on? You think you're a big man? Do it. Watch what happens. That's what he just said. He said, and previously, we had to break him. Look how fast it took. The guy Ford from Canada, within he came out and said, we're going to do this and do that. And Trump said, okay. Oh, hey, I didn't know you was going to hit me like that. I didn't know you were going. I thought you was like Biden. I didn't know. No, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here to break you. That's going to offend some people. I know there's probably people here that are offended by that. No, you mistook this for a negotiation. I'm here to break you. I don't like what you've done. I don't like what you've been doing to America for some time, and so I'm not here to play with you. When I said I want you as a 51st state, that's pretty much what I hope to see happen. And in order for that to happen, what do I have to do? I have to break you. I have to make sure I break your will to the point where you don't feel comfortable standing up to me ever again. And I bet you we won't hear Mr. Ford from Ontario ever again say something like that.
And he's not going to let someone push him around. You know, the right answer is, if we take a step back, what does the president want? He wants to worry about major things for national security of America. Steel and aluminum tariffs, that's today, right? Autos coming April 2nd, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, things that America must have. So you can imagine these are the kind of tariffs we're going to make sure these things come back to America, that are built in America, and then on April 2nd, he does his reciprocal tariffs, which basically say to all the countries in the world, come on, you treat us a certain way, we'll treat you the same way. Let's make it fair. You want them high, they'll be high like they are now. You want them low, they'll be low, but let's treat each other fairly. And that's where we're going. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward.